If you're struggling to lose weight or just trying to figure out how to get started, keep watching this video because I'm going to tell you the ins and outs on how you can lose up to 2 pounds in 1 week. For anyone who's new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Santia, and on this channel I talk about everything regarding health and wellness. I am a licensed certified trainer through NASM, so I am here to share with you guys all of my knowledge on the tips and tricks on how you can lose up to 2 pounds a week and do it quickly and healthy. So before we get started, I just wanted to share my excitement for this video because I have a personal PSA announcement to make. I have just reached one of my mini goals and I have lost 5 pounds in the last 2.5 weeks. This is a major goal for me because I put on so much weight over the holiday season and I didn't realize it until I was reflecting back on video content. I saw how much progress I lost and also paying attention to myself in the gym and seeing how much progress I lost in the gym. I realized I wasn't as strong, I wasn't dropping weight as quickly, and a lot had to do with my eating habits, my nutrition timing, and a lot of things that goes into losing weight and sustaining the weight loss. So I know you may be wondering, is it possible to lose weight and also gain muscle? And the answer is yes. Losing weight and gaining muscle is definitely possible, but it has to be done the correct way. That is done with a correct diet and also a training program. So before we get started and before you start this journey, I just want to let you know the first things first is that you're going to have to change your mindset. You are changing your eating habits, you are changing your activity levels, and this is going to be a complete change in your lifestyle. Is it going to be easy? I'm not gonna lie, no. There are gonna be days where you don't wanna go to the gym. There are gonna be days that you don't want to eat the things that you know that you should be eating to reach your goals. And you may just be over it sometimes, but that is okay. We have those days. If you fall off, just get back on track. You may put a little block in your progress, but as long as you keep going, you're gonna see those results. You're gonna start seeing those calories burn. You're gonna start seeing those pounds shed. But you just have to realize that you have to change your mindset, and it's gonna take a lot of hard work and consistency when you're going on this journey of losing weight, especially if you're trying to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. Realistically, this is possible. You're gonna have to take in the process. You're gonna have to start to love and enjoy the process, even though it may become challenging at times. And you also have to set realistic goals. Like for myself, like I mentioned, I had my PSA announcement that I lost my 5 pounds and I was so excited about it. So now that you're prepared to change your mindset, for yourself too going on this journey, you're gonna have to go ahead and set smart goals. And those are gonna have to be small and they're gonna have to be specific. And you may have this ultimate long-term goal that you want to accomplish, but you have to have goals that you can accomplish on the blocks to get yourself to where you want to be. So before this mini goal of my 5 pound shed, I initially lost over 20 pounds. I went from going to the gym here and there and pretty much eating whatever I wanted. And I am a person that loves carbs, that loves sweets, and all those things were just going into my stores and it was just storing as fat. And that's why when I started to work out and I started to work out aggressively and I changed my diet, I lost weight so quickly. And this is very easy for people who are sedentary, people who are obese, who are overweight. Once you start working out and you change your diet, you're gonna start seeing the weight shed. And I promise you, you're gonna be very surprised how quickly the weight comes off. And I was surprised myself. I was just like, for one, I know where this weight came from, but where is this weight going? And I'm not worried about where it's going. It's just leaving my body. And I was so happy and so grateful for it. When I initially went on my journey, I went on it because I wanted to lose weight. And I realized after talking to trainers and going through my trial and error that I just wanted to do this for myself. And I realized the personally and how I felt mentally and physically. And I honestly feel like I had way more energy. I felt like I was a lot stronger, had the ability to be more active. I was more flexible. I feel like working out in general and focusing on your health and nutrition gives you a whole different life, and it is a whole different lifestyle. I'm not gonna lie to you. So now we have our mindset down, we need to get into the second thing that is going to help us on our journey to losing weight, and that is going to be nutrition timing. Nutrition alone is not going to help us build muscle, and it's not going to help us build that lean muscle mass that we want to see while we're shedding those pounds. Also, we have to realize that taking in protein does help lose weight because protein does keep you fuller for longer periods of time. But if you're taking in all this protein and you're not taking on a proper training program to help you build and repair that muscle, then you're just going to be taking in unnecessary protein, unnecessary calories, which is not going to help you build lean muscle mass. It's going to actually make you gain weight. And then it's just defeating the purpose of you trying to go on this weight loss journey and just taking in all this unnecessary food. And this is not effective to the strategy of gaining lean muscle mass. So we have to be conscious of our macronutrients. And our macronutrients are carbohydrates, our protein, and our fats. Our carbohydrates are going to be our source for energy, while our protein is going to be what we need in order to repair and build our muscles. And then we also have fats. Fats are actually a good thing. They help regulate our hormones. And fats also help us with bouts of energy. So with our fats, it stores in our body so that way when we have those exercises where we're doing high intensity or just need more source of energy, that's when fat stores it into our glycogen stores so that way we have that energy to use for later. And also just a tip on protein, for the RDA, it's recommended to have 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So my protein intake may differ from your protein intake, and that's why I felt that it wasn't necessary for me to put that here in the video. Everybody's bodies are different. Everybody's bodies are unique. So no one's program, no one's intake is going to be identical. You may see similarities, but we all have different muscular balances, we all have different intake levels, and we all have different goals. So you need to base your goals on you and yourself, and also your nutrition timing based on your body. So if you follow me on any other social media platforms and you have been on my channel for a while, you know I'm really big into training. I got certified as a NASM certified trainer last April, so it's been over a year now. It has gone by so quickly, but I do really enjoy resistance training. It is like my favorite thing to do. And resistance training isn't just lifting heavy weights, it includes bands. It's any type of resistance that you're pressing on your muscle. And that is so helpful in so many ways for your body. It helps you rebuild your muscles. It helps you stay healthy. It gives you more longevity on life. And it also helps repair your bones. So as we get older, we lose so much of our bone density. And resistance training actually helps reverse that. And also with resistance training, it also improves our metabolic processes within our bodies. And it also helps out with flexibility. And I know we don't mind being a little extra flexible. And it's so funny because I went to a dance class and they were like preparing to do a splits. And I'm just like, I don't usually do dance classes. I know I don't usually do the splits, and they were like prepping for the splits and doing these stretches. And I kid you not, I was laughing. I was just like, I know I'm not going to be able to do this. And then we like prepped for it, and it was like, okay, these are like some stretches that I usually do in my workout regimen. So I was just like, okay, I got this. I know what I'm doing. And then they were like, all right, now go into the splits. So I'm just like, you know what? I came to the class. I'm all in. I'm going to try it. And I went for the splits. And when I went for the splits, I hit the ground. I was just like, oh my gosh, like I didn't realize that I knew how to do the splits. So every time I went to the gym and I did my stretches, I always made sure I did the splits because I was like, I am making sure I keep this and I sustain this. And it all happened because I was doing resistance training and I was focusing on stretching and not realizing that I was becoming more flexible until I did it in that class. So training does, and I will be the person to admit, it does increase flexibility. So if that is something you're interested in and you just want to get a little bit more flexible, resistance training does help with that. So FYI. With you taking into consideration your nutrition timing and also your training, this is going to give your body more energy so that way you can apply more demand for your training itself. This is going to give you more energy. You're going to feel like you can do more reps. You're going to feel like you can go longer at your training or at your cardio. You're just going to have more energy overall. And with you having that, you're going to be able to exert more energy, which is going to be equivalent to weight loss. So as the intensity of your workouts increase, you want to be more cognitive of your nutrition timing and what you're getting in with your nutrition. As you train more, your nutrition becomes more important. So if you're increasing your training from 30 minutes to an hour, trying to focus on more of strength training or extreme weight loss, you're gonna have to be more on it with your nutrition. So I know when I was training my clients, they'll be like, hey, I'm training, I'm doing all of this, and I'm taking in my water, but I'm not seeing me shed weight. And then I'm like, okay, so what did you eat that day? They're like, well, I don't eat that much. I just have I skip breakfast, and then I just have lunch, and then I just have something small for dinner. And I'm just like, girl, you need to eat. Your body needs energy in order for you to train. If you're training and you're in a calorie deficit, your body is going to try to hold on to whatever it can get, because it's going to be like, hey, I'm not getting any more food later, so I'm just going to try to hold on to whatever I can get. So when you are training heavily and you're not getting enough nutrition, your body's going to hold on to it. It's not going to want to let it go. And then you're going to start feeling dizzy. You're going to start feeling nauseous and whatever else during your workouts, because your body is trying to preserve itself. It's trying to keep as much energy as it can, even though you are exerting more energy. And you want to make sure you're able to hit into your fat stores, because if you're not eating enough and you're just taking in whatever here and there, your body's going to use sugar. It's going to use sugar first for when you're training, and then it's going to get into your fat stores once you hit a certain level. So there's something called B1 and B2. In order for you to drop more weight, you're going to have to be in B2. And this is a state where you're still able to talk, but you're not able to hold those full conversations. So if you're in the gym holding those full conversations, you're not burning fat. So you might want to get off the phone or stop talking to the person next to you. It is great that you're at the gym and that you're putting in the effort to be there, but you're not going to see your goals at the timing that you want to see them. If you're able to talk just freely how I'm talking right now, you need to be like, yeah, okay, yeah. Go ahead and get into nutrition timing and how I time my meals when I lost 20 pounds. So for me, I'm not a big breakfast person, I'll be honest. Some days I am in the mood for breakfast, and my favorite breakfast is French toast. So I'm good on the carbs, but for me, usually when I'm getting more into my weight loss, I will try to have something light in the morning. So most likely I'll have a protein shake, and that's what supplements are for. Supplements are supposed to substitute what you're not getting in your nutrition. So because I don't want to eat something so heavy and have eggs and toast and all these other things, I'm going to have a supplement of protein, and that protein that I have usually does have some sort of carbs and fats in it as well. So I am supplementing what I wouldn't be getting in my intake at that timing. And then also for me, after I have my resistance training, I'll go back home or I'll come downstairs and I'll have some sort of carbs and protein. And I don't really incorporate fats, just because I know if I'm eating eggs or if I'm eating oatmeal, I like to use butter, and I'm getting in the fats in that way. And if you look at the nutrition labels, I did not realize how much a tablespoon of butter had as far as fats, and also how many calories it has. So I don't try to focus too much on fats on my journey, just because I know that I'm getting in different ways when I'm cooking. And there's different types of fats. We have saturated and unsaturated fats, and also trans fats. And trans fats, if it has trans fats in it, you don't need it. Trans fats, just stay away from it. I know initially when I would go to the gym before I got certified, I would try to go on an empty stomach, because I was like, oh, I'm fasting and I'm working out, so it's a no-brainer that I'm gonna lose weight because I don't have anything in my stomach and I'm just burning. And that is completely false. I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but it is so true. If you're fasting and you're going to the gym and you're trying to use all this energy, you're already in a fasted state because you have fasted the entire night. Your body is using that sugar that you had in your body just to sustain and thrive and to live. So when you're waking up, you have nothing. Everything is just depleted. And if you do work out in a fasted state, it is very dangerous, because you're going to become nauseous, you're going to become dizzy, because it's spiking your blood sugar levels, and your body's just like, what is going on? And it's trying to compute, and it's also trying to put out the energy. And that's when you start to see those plateaus. That's when you start to see you feeling dizzy. And this is something I recommend from anybody who's starting their workout journey, their training journey, always keep something in your bag. So whether it be like a fruit snack, a protein bar, a protein shake, just have something in your bag, because if you do train and you're going past your limits, you start to feel lightheaded, you start to feel nauseous. That's because your sugar stores are depleted and you need something to get you back there. And even just taking a clementine, that is enough for you, like a little cutie. Keep a cutie in your bag. That will get you back to where you need to be, and it will take away the nausea, and it will take away the dizziness. And just keep something there, because you never know how your body's going to react when you're intensifying your training. Basically, if you try to work out fasted, your body is just going to be trying to work on the free fatty acids inside of your body. It does not translate into fat loss. It's just not going to have the performance that you're expecting to get out of your training for that day. And now, since we're talking about breakfast, it is literally breaking the fast. You're literally breaking that fastest state of your body. Your body hasn't eaten in 6 to 8 hours, and it needs something to keep going. That's why breakfast is, I wouldn't say it's the most important meal of the day, because all of our meals are important, but I will say breakfast is essential because you are breaking that fast. And I'm not saying fasting is bad for you, because fasting is okay if you're doing it for religious purposes, or if you're just doing it for just a period of time to reset your body. It is good for you, but doing fasting for a long duration of time, or fasting every single day in training before, it's not healthy for your body. And there's also research that has proven that breakfast improves our behavior throughout the day. It helps with our cognition, it helps with our concentration, and it also helps with our overall performance. So whether you are going to work, if you're in school, it's just going to help you be more alert and more cognitive, and being able to digest and take in everything that you're learning or doing for that day. It uses up to 70% of glucose, and glucose is sugar that we take in from our food in order to survive. So we have a bad negative connotation on sugar. Sugar is actually good for us. It's just the amount of sugar that we get in our foods. And a lot of times, like the processed foods or the snacks that we eat are very high in sugar, to where it's like we're just over consuming it and our body's not able to process it down enough. But our bodies do need it in order for us to function in different ways. If we're not feeding our bodies food in the morning, we're not getting our optimal levels of glucose, aka sugar, and ultimately in return our physical and our mental processes end up failing, because we're not providing our body the nutrients that it needs. And also, you have to realize your nutrition intake is going to be different depending on the type of training that you're taking on. If you're taking on endurance training, or if you're taking on strength training, they're completely different, and you're going to have different intakes. So if you're focusing on endurance training, that is based on your size, that is based on your sex, and ultimately you're going to be taking in more carbs. If you're focusing on strength training, that means you're tearing more muscle, you're going to be focusing more on protein, because you're wanting to repair that muscle mass that you're breaking down. And you're going to want to focus more so on your intake and your hydration. You're going to want to make sure you're very hydrated and your body has what it needs in order to continue to function and to outperform itself. So I have a little fact for you guys, something called our anabolic window. And basically what the anabolic window is the timing after our workout, which nutrients such as protein and carbs are needed in order to see the results and weight loss that we're trying to see. Because our bodies are in the state of excitement and it is burning and it needs fuel to burn, we want to make sure our body continues to do that. So instead of our bodies thinking that it's not going to get the food back, it's not going to get the nutrients, and trying to store that, if you're giving your body food after your workout, so that's when your timing comes into play, especially with carbs and protein, that's when you will see more of the weight start to shift. This is also going to help with the breakdown of your muscle, because when you are losing weight, you're losing fat and you're also going to lose muscle. We want to make sure we're keeping that lean muscle mass. So we want to make sure after our workouts, we are taking in that protein, because we want to try to sustain that lean muscle mass, because when we're working out, it's just inevitable that we're going to lose fat and we're also going to lose muscle. But in order to sustain that lean muscle mass and you're able to see that tone in your arms and your legs and your back, you're going to make sure that you're getting in that protein. Third, you want to make sure you're modifying your energy intake. And this means, I'm sorry to say, we are going to be in a calorie deficit, but I promise you, if you plan out your macronutrients accordingly, you are not going to go hungry. Trust me, I do not miss a meal. So it's just based on what you're getting. So usually when you're in a calorie deficit and you're trying to lose weight, it's going to be about, I would say, 200 to 500 calories. And it just depends on how quickly you're trying to see the weight loss. It is not recommended to drastically decrease your nutrient intake because that can lead to electrolyte depletion in your hormonal system, which can defeat the purpose of what you're trying to do. And you'll just ultimately be getting inadequate nutrient intake and have a lack of vitamins. The less processed foods that you eat, so those are going to be nutrient dense foods such as like proteins like chicken, salmon, vegetables, fruits. Those are going to be helpful for you to see the progress that you want to see in your weight loss journey. If you're eating highly processed foods like pizza, chips, snacks, those are going to be high in sodium and high in sugars, so it's going to put on the extra weight. So I'm not saying you can't have your snacks and have those things. You're just going to have to try to find different ones that have less sugar, also less fats. And it's going to be a change because it is a process and it is a journey, but you can still also have the things you like. You just need to be more conscious and aware of what you're taking in. When you are eating foods and you're focusing on weight loss, you want to make sure you're also eating high fiber foods. So those are going to be things that are like vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. I recommend eating larger portions of veggies, but also keeping track of what your protein intake should be and also your carbs. But ultimately, if you're just eating majority veggies, that is not going to have a big impact on your journey. Now, if it is high in like oils and fats and butters, you want to try to avoid that because then you're going to be defeating the purpose. Make sure you're sustaining a slightly higher protein intake and just being more conscious and aware of what you're taking in. So that's why I also highly recommend tracking, and that is something that I'm getting back into, is tracking my intake. And there are a lot of free apps that you can use. The one that I usually use is Myfitness Pal, and they also have a feature in there where you can track your macronutrients to see what your protein, your fats, and your carbs are. And it'll also tell you if something is too high in a certain category as far as what you're taking in. And they also make it very easy to where you can scan the labels in order to get your intake. So once you kind of start tracking, you'll start to see what your intake usually looks like. And ultimately, tracking is supposed to get you on track of being more conscious and aware of what you're taking in. And then eventually you'll get used to what your portion sizes are and what you can eat. And it'll just ultimately have you more conscious and aware. And you may not need tracking for a long period of time. So it's based on your preference. If you want to get down to the nitty-gritty and track very thoroughly, you can also weigh your food. Just because when you are taking in food and it may be a little bit extra, you don't realize that you're taking in an additional half cup of something, which can lead to another additional 200 to 300 calories. And that is something that you want to avoid. But I would say if you're just getting started and you're just trying to get on the track of your health and wellness journey and this weight loss journey, I would just start with the Myfitness Pal and track your intake and start from there. And if you want to get more strategic about it, then you can start weighing your foods. Or if you just want to go all in and start now, go ahead and start tracking, start weighing. It's totally up to you. It's up to your preference and how you want to do it. And lastly, you want to be conscious of your energy in and your energy out. So there are different types of exercises. There's eat and there's NEAT. So eat is going to be the specific time that you put towards an exercise. It's going to be non-exercise activities. So that can be you going for a walk, that can be you gardening, cleaning the house. You're still burning calories while you're doing those things, especially if you have a more sedentary job or a more sedentary lifestyle. For myself, I do work from home, so I do have to put forth more effort in order to get up and start walking, and that's something that I have to remind myself to do now. Especially like when I have my watch charge, I think I'm more conscious and aware of when I am getting more of my NEAT exercise in. And that is trying to reach the 10,000 steps in a day. And then I would say that I would approach more seriousness on my actual exercise. So I'll have my workout regimen and I'll dedicate that time into the gym. But both of those are essential when you're focusing on losing weight. That 10,000 steps can go a very long way, and you may be doing things and you may not realize that you're getting in all those steps. But if you do have a job that you are on your feet all the time, that is even better, just because you are getting in more exercise than you realize and you're burning more calories throughout the day. Then there's something else called TDE, and that's total energy expenditure. So that's going to be the combination of the two, and also the calories that your body burns on its own. So we all burn calories whether or not we're moving, we're exercising, because our body is burning calories in order to function on its own. When you're focusing on your energy expenditure, structure exercise is very important. So even though you are getting an activity, whether you're moving around more for work or you're gardening or you're getting in those 10,000 steps, you are going to make sure you're getting at least 150 minutes to 75 minutes of vigorous exercise activities. I'm not saying you need to do that in one day. That is going to be for the entire week. So if you're doing any type of anaerobic exercises like yoga, Pilates, those you want to make sure you're getting in that each week. So rather you divide that up evenly across the 7 days, or if you're doing a 5-day split or 4 to 3 days, you just want to make sure you're getting in that amount of time and pushing your body to burn those calories. Now, if you're working in a high intensity or high interval training, you want to make sure you're doing at least 75 minutes vigorous training per week. So you just need to split that up and see how you're going to divide that and divvy it into your regimen. So those are all factors you want to consider, whether you are getting in not exercise activities. But if you are a sedentary person and you're just starting to get active, gardening, going for walks, you will see the progress if you are in a calorie deficit. So be mindful of that. Don't feel that you have to feel pressure to get into the gym and do this high intensity training. You need to start where you are and to take steps little by little, and you'll get to where you want to be ultimately. So be patient with yourself grace when you're going on this journey, and realize it is going to be full of ups and downs. You're already one step there. You clicked on this video because you're interested in taking on this journey for yourself and how to achieve your goals. So just make sure when you're approaching this journey, make sure you have those SMART goals, that they're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. And also just be patient with yourself and give yourself grace when you're going on this, and realize that it's not going to be perfect, but you will get there. And I promise you, if you follow these simple steps, you will start to see the pounds shed, and I am on the journey with you. But if you're interested in any more content, just let me know down in the comment section down below what you guys want to see. If you want to be notified for any more videos and content that comes up, make sure to turn on your post notifications and to subscribe to the channel. But that is all I have for you guys for today, and thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I will see you next time.